Coming up on City Spotlight, it's the Season 11 season premiere of City Spotlight. And we'll kick off the new season featuring two communities. First, it's our first trip to Tolono on City Spotlight as we talk Unit 7 schools with new Unit 7 schools Superintendent Dr. Brink. We'll learn about Brian's journey to the Tolono area and an overview of the Unit 7 school district, the facilities, and many communities that are a part of the Unit 7 school district. Then it's off to Mattoon and Lytle Park and Pool as we talk once again with Justin Grady of the Mattoon Township Park District. Justin will have the latest on Lytle Park and Pool and reflections by Justin of over 40 years of service to the Mattoon Township Park District. It's the start of Season 11 of City Spotlight, and we're talking Tolono and Mattoon next on City Spotlight.
It's almost impossible to imagine life without internet today. It keeps us connected to work, school, and loved ones, no matter where they are. Fidium Fiber Internet now serves over 1 million locations, providing reliable, consistent service that keeps these connections strong. From vibrant cities to quiet rural areas, fiber broadband is a key driver of economic growth. Fidium is dedicated to supporting communities and enhancing lives through this essential technology. Learn more at fidiumfiber.com.
And hello and welcome to another edition of City Spotlight. We're kicking off Season 11 of City Spotlight, and we have made our way to start this new season back up to Champaign County for the first part of a two-community episode, and we are taping for the first time on Tolono. Just to clarify where we're taping, we are taping at Unity East Elementary School in Philo, and we'll talk more about the Unit 7 school district as we welcome first time to the program Dr. Brink, Superintendent of Unit 7 schools. Brian, pleasure to have you on.
Thank you, it's a pleasure.
Excellent. Again, we're taping at Unity East Elementary School in Philo, part of the Unit 7 school district. We're going to learn all about that and the varying communities that are in this unique school district here in southern Champaign County. Before we do that, let's learn about you, Brian. You're a first-time guest. Tell us about yourself.
Well, my name is Brian Brink. I'm originally from Centralia, Illinois. I grew up as an orphan, although it's always a great day to be a Rocket. Go Rockets. Family and I just moved up here from Breeze, Illinois. I've been on the job since July 1st.
Okay.
I believe it's my 9th year as a superintendent. Mm-hmm. I spent most of my career in smaller districts down south, but when the Unit 7 job opened, I asked my wife, she gave me the permission to apply, and here we are. And it's every bit since July 1st has been wonderful. So it's been a pleasure.
We are taping here on August 22nd, so you do the math. Not very long on the job. What have you learned so far about this area?
Well, it's a unique area. You know, our district from east to west covers the towns of Sidney, Philo, Tolono, Pasodum, and Sedoris, and then all the rural areas in between. So it's 175 square miles of land, and each of those towns, you know, has their own little identities, but the community does an awesome job of coming together when it's time to come together for our kids, and that's really what makes Unity special.
We're going to talk a little bit more about that in detail as we go along. It covers many school districts. So when you look up to the north and you see this opportunity, what struck you as the most appealing thing about coming up here to this school district in southern Champaign County?
Sure. I've said this story multiple times, but our family's Illini season ticket holders. We were coming up here for a game a few years ago. The town we lived in was a golf cart community, and we were looking for a new golf cart, actually. And when we were driving through Tolono, a golf cart went by the front of our car and had a for sale sign on it, and I thought, well, there's one I might want to buy. And we ended up at the high school, the campus at the high school, the junior high, and I couldn't believe what I saw. I was so impressed about the facilities. That got me looking into the district a little bit, and So I told my wife about 4 years ago, if this job ever opened, it was going to be one that we tried to get, because not only were the facilities top notch, what I found out was the school district and the communities in general were a place that we'd want to raise our kids, and it worked out, and here we are.
You obviously are very new to the area, the school district, and one of my questions I had written down before I actually had found out a little bit about that you are just getting started here. I'm not going to ask you too much about the history of the school district, but it is a unique school district in that it does cover many communities. The word co-op, many schools, they funnel kind of into Tolono for the high school and the junior high. What can you share about this history of this school district here in southern Champaign County? It does cover a lot of ground.
Sure. So really it was one of those things that, from what I could gather, came out of necessity. Each of the 5 towns had their own K-8 schools, but those schools were aging, and that's really what got community leaders to get together and figure out a plan, to form what you see now here as Unit 7. So, 2 elementary schools, that was a decision. There was one, here at Unity East, we're serving the towns of Sidney and Philo and those rural areas in between. Unity West serves Tolono, Pasodum, and Sedoris, and those rural areas in between. And then those communities come together for the first time at the junior high, which is, junior high is really a special time here, because while each of our communities may have their own rivalries and their own uniqueness as individual towns, like I said, they really come together. They always come together for Unit 7 kids, but that junior high is really the first time that they come together as one, right. And then it just grows there in the high school. It's really a neat thing to see.
I guess where the magic starts, I guess.
Absolutely.
Where they all meet each other. They all unite. Very good. Let's talk about those buildings. You probably just listed them off. We'll start here where we're taping at. The one school located in the district that is not in Tolono, with the Tolono address, Unity East School in Philo, Unity West, as you mentioned, Tolono. Funny little story on a personal note. My first day on the job at my previous job up in Champaign was to come down here to this area and get video of these brand new elementary schools. So there's your date, 2002. What can you tell us about these 2 buildings? They kind of look the same, don't they?
So yeah, they were built using the same blueprint. They both house our K-5 programs, with some population shifts. Unity West has outgrown Unity East a little bit, so there's been a few additions out there. But to make up for that shift, Unity East here houses our 2 pre-K classrooms in the district. So we try to level out those numbers. But yeah, the buildings are using the same blueprint. We're super proud of all of our facilities. Our facilities here are just top notch. So we're just super proud of what's going on and the programs we have going on.
Okay, so those are the 2 elementary schools, Unity East, Unity West, and the junior high and high school. They're kind of all right there in Tolono. What can you tell us about those 2 buildings?
So yeah, the junior high was also built in 2002.
Okay,
I believe the high school, it's the one older building.
Right.
I want to say 1957, don't quote me on that.
That's fine.
But throughout the years, so much money and time has been invested into making that high school. You wouldn't be able to tell that it's any older than the other buildings. And again, if you go out to I think we were one of the first districts in the area. We have turf, football fields, baseball fields, soccer fields. Like I said, our facilities are first class, and we rival anything that you'd see in those Chicago suburb areas. We think we're super proud of it.
I think here, people that are watching maybe further south and closer to Charleston, when you hear Unity Rockets, you're talking about the Tolono area. Very good. So those are your four school districts. I know you're still getting your feet wet on the job. What have you learned about any recent facility work that has been done to any of the buildings?
So sure, most of the buildings were completed in 2002, but we've continued to invest to be sure that they're staying world class. This summer there was a huge investment in both elementary schools. We put in new playgrounds that are going to serve students of all abilities, so they're all inclusive. We're super proud of it. And the best thing about those was it was started with students. So some students wrote some adults letters saying,
Really?
hey, we want to see our peers of all abilities be able to play with us. And in the past, unfortunately that wasn't happening. So that's how it started. And now at both elementary schools, we have all-inclusive playgrounds that we are super proud of, and all of our kids are getting the opportunity to play and have fun.
Very good. This is not the first school district that I have covered here on City Spotlight. As we approach 30 communities on City Spotlight in 11 years, there are a handful of school districts where they serve many, many communities, and this is certainly one. What have you gauged early on? Again, you've been on the job a little over a month as we tape here, third week of August. What have you learned about how all these communities bond together to make this school district work?
Sure. Well, I said it earlier, we really pride ourselves, it's a lot like a family. So you may have folks from Philo telling folks from Tolono that we're better, and they have that little rivalry going on. Mm-hmm. But the wonderful thing is when it comes to our kids, you see they unite together and everybody has the same goal to make this community better in general. So it is a lot like a family. You may get in a fight with your brother and sister sometimes, but if somebody from the outside wants to fight your brother and sister, you're right there, and you've got your brother and sister's back. And that's the way these towns are. It's really a wonderful thing to see.
And I think you might have said it earlier in the interview, maybe you didn't, but the geography, so much square mileage. What is the square mileage of what this school district covers? Because it's a lot.
So it's 175 square miles, which it makes transportation a challenge to say the least.
It's a lot of farmland.
Absolutely, but those farmers are the backbones of our community. So and
right.
They're one of the leaders. When we need something, when the school needs something, we put it out there. There's a good chance one of our local farmers is going to help us out and give us what we need. So it takes a village, and again, we're just super blessed to live in the community that we do.
I think I'm going to hold off on the curriculum question for you for maybe the next time we come back because you're getting started. But I want to ask you, school just started
Sure.
This past week. Tell us about the start of the school year.
Well, I'll answer the curriculum question, I guess.
Do you want to highlight one here in our final couple minutes?
Well, maybe not so much curriculum. I'll say that I think all schools have invested,
right.
a lot of money recently. We had COVID dollars coming in, so there's been a lot of investment in different curriculums, and we're super proud this year. We invested a lot of money in a new math curriculum. But
Great.
What I would say about curriculum is that obviously each one that you're going to purchase might be slightly different, but they all have the same goal. But no matter the curriculum that you purchase, it comes down to the people that you have in your buildings, and everyone from our custodial staff to our lunch staff to our aides and our teachers, they all have the same goal, and that is what makes us special. The curriculum is only as good as the people that you have in place, and the people we have in place at Unit 7 are top notch. So as far as the start of school,
Been open about a week since we've
we're about a week in. Every educator will tell you the end of the year is wonderful, but the beginning of the year really is a special time because it's the perfect combination of old and new. You get a chance you're going to see old friends that you maybe haven't seen, but there's that anticipation of what's new, the new people you're going to meet, the new class you have. So it's just such excitement in the air at the beginning of the year. It really is the best time of year for school. So we're just ready to get going.
For you, since you're making a lot of new friends.
Yeah, my children who are a freshman and fifth grader are super embarrassed that Dad's around, but I also love embarrassing them sometimes. But yeah, my job is, right now, I have an easy job. My job is to get to know people, as many people as I can, and get to learn this community. So I do spend time at every school each week. It is the best part of my day in the mornings, greeting students as they come to school, shaking hands, giving fist bumps, and telling everybody good morning. I am super blessed. I got the best job in the world. Everything is good in the Brink household.
Very good. Glad to have Dr. Brian Brink, Superintendent of Unit 7 Schools. This is a Tolono episode, but we're taping here at Unity East Elementary School in Philo. Brian, it's been a pleasure. Welcome to Tolono area, Southern Champaign, and glad to have you on City Spotlight. And we look forward to catching you up as you learn more about your school district.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. I love the fact that your first job was here at East, and you're not done yet, but everything a circle.
Everything does come full circle. Very good. Thank you very much. Coming up next here on City Spotlight, we'll continue this first episode of Season 11. We'll change locations and communities. We'll head south to Mattoon and catch up with Justin Grady of the Mattoon Township Park District. But first, let's take a look at some of the upcoming activities going on in Tolono and Mattoon. And we're back here on City Spotlight, this Season 11 season premiere, and we've changed locations as we've mentioned. This is a 2-community episode. We started in Tolono and now we're back in Mattoon to kick off Season 11 of City Spotlight. We're back at a familiar spot, Lytle Park and Pool in Mattoon, and to help us out, it's a familiar guest to the program, Justin Grady of the Mattoon Township Park District. Justin, it's been a while since we've had you on, but glad to have you back on.
Thanks for being here.
Glad to have Justin on. Justin, this is his 4th appearance on City Spotlight. We had him on 3 times previously in those first 5 seasons, and a lot of things were happening behind us as we're taping over here at the new pavilion area here at Lytle Park. And again, Justin, great to have you back on the program. Just behind you is Lytle Pool. This is Lytle Park and Pool. Lytle Pool, it was a little bit quiet this summer at Lytle Pool, and things weren't able to normally function as they were.
Yep.
Tell our audience at home, why was it so quiet at Lytle Pool this summer?
Well, we were ready to go 3 days before opening, and a motor crashed and broke a impeller, a piece of a pump. Mm-hmm. And we're trying to get something back or to fix, but they don't do that anymore. You can't go just buy another impeller or anything. They make it we couldn't get one. Mm-hmm. Because it would have taken 12.
It would have taken a long time to get here.
And 12 weeks. It was going to be 12 weeks to get it. So we couldn't move. Because there's 2, we have 2 motors, and if we only use one, we can't move enough water for the state.
It's an old pool. It's approaching 100 years old.
Yes.
It was tough to see the pool closed. So were you able to make those fixes?
No, not yet.
Not yet?
It takes a lot of time because we've got to go through bidding processes now.
Okay.
So, but we'll have it up by a month the next year.
All right, so there you heard it. Still in the process of fixing Lytle Pool. Again, we are taping here at the end of August 28th, 2024. So it was a quiet summer at Lytle Pool, but hopefully things can get fixed and people in Mattoon can enjoy this nearly 100-year-old pool next summer, summer of 2025. Justin, the last time we taped with you was back around 2017, 2018. Behind us is Lytle Park, and there was a lot of things going on there around that time. We taped, I think, before things started getting built, and then afterwards. From your vantage point and living across the street from this beautiful park here on the western part of Mattoon, how do you think people have enjoyed all these recent additions to the park?
Very well. We started with a few new sidewalks and found out everybody wanted to use them and wanted more. And it changed the park a lot. So there's a lot of people that come here and jog around because they don't have to be around cars. Mm-hmm. They bring their kids with their bikes and their scooters and their strollers, and people are out here all the time. It's great. If I knew that when I started, that would have been the first thing I've done, because that's the biggest thing that has really happened for getting people to come to here.
Well, you have to figure out what people want out of their
Yeah.
park, and things do evolve. With you being affiliated with the park for over 40 years, you've kind of seen how this park and the people that use it kind of have evolved. The new age children's area. Myself and my kids, at least my younger kids, have come over here several times because there's just some really unique things. How do you think that's worked out for the youth of the area?
It's good. It's really good. There's the problems we have are for kids cutting the ropes on the the pieces. It's hard to get people. I've got a person who comes from Chicago every year to try to keep it in time. But
so you obviously have the New Age area, and you have the beautiful foliage area. Talk about that, because obviously that's probably enjoyed by the older residents of the area.
It's pretty good. My kids are not very good at weeding, but the main thing that we had trouble was we started with the idea of showing people how to do vegetables, and we had people taking them all the time before they were great, and that just we went probably 5 years trying that, and so we just do some flowers in there now.
It looks like it's grown a little bit since the last time I taped with you. Obviously, I've been here a few times since then. What's next for Lytle Park? What does the future hold?
Well, we had to take our fountain out because the state said we had to have lifeguards out by it.
Okay.
So we took that apart. We're working on it, but with what happened this summer, I didn't have enough help or money.
That's unfortunate.
But no, it's okay. We're in good shape. The screen was built twice as big as it was when you were here last time.
Yeah, it does look noticeably bigger.
Yes, and we got a really good, I call it a light cannon, but when we did it in the early days, it was dark. Now it's like being at a movie.
I have been out here. I think it was last summer. I came out with my kids, and we saw a movie here. They have the movies in the park during the summertime at Lytle Park, and it looked great there on that the brick wall with the white screen there.
Yeah.
So another avenue for people to come to the park. So I didn't mention this at the start of our interview. The reason why I'm taping here with Justin is through another media outlet. Noticed that you're retiring after 40 plus years of working at Lytle Park and Pool. You're fortunate enough that I tell people all the time that you have the easiest commute in the planet to your job, which is you live across the street.
Yep.
So over 40 years of working at Lytle Park and Pool, most of that is as the head of this township park district. When you look at the 40 years that you've worked here in Mattoon, specifically at this park and pool, what are you most proud of?
Some of the kids that worked here. We had a thing this year. They knew I was going to not be here next summer. I'm still going to be here until the guy who's going to take over gets here. And we know who he is. I don't want to say anybody.
That's fine.
But
that transition period to help that new person.
And he has been working with me for 2 years already.
Good.
And so that's when I'm going to give it over to him. In between, I'm just going to stay here, for a while. And I'll probably work through the summer a lot because I still live near there.
Live right across, the convenience of living across from where you work. So obviously retirement is in the future. Why is this park and pool area that you have worked with for over 4 decades, why is it a special? What's special about Lytle Park and Pool to you?
I don't know why. I can't say that. I tell people that I remember when I was in 5th grade, the teacher was asking, what do you want to be when you get old? What are you going to do with a job? And I didn't know, but I said, I want to be outside. I don't want to have this. My dad had a shirt and tie all the time. I hated that. And then I wanted to be in charge, of course, and I just fell into it. And, I loved what I was doing. We had almost 200 kids who worked for me show up last week, or not the week before last. And that was not put up from me, it was the kids that wanted to do it. And I didn't, it was hard for me to talk to them sometimes, because there were so many of them said I changed their lives. It's humbling.
Well, this place is obviously, you mentioned that your dad had a lifestyle of his own and you wanted to be outside, and certainly for 40 years you've been outside at this park and pool. And then, as we've learned on many of our programs on WEIU, it's about the people. And so that is an amazing story. Thank you for sharing that, Justin, about you've worked with how many kids over 40 years that have helped you?
About 900.
900. You know the number. Wow. 900 people, 900 kids. That's pretty cool. Well, Justin, I don't have anything else listed on my list of questions. Is there anything else you'd like to share with us about your experiences then and now at Lytle Park and Pool?
No, I think I've blown my gasket.
Well, we appreciate you 4 times here on City Spotlight, sharing with us this place that is special to you and this western part of Mattoon for so many years. Obviously, the park is over 100 years old. The pool is approaching 100 years old, and for over 4 decades, you've contributed a lot and helped maintain this well. So, Justin Grady of the Mattoon Township Park District.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for being on City Spotlight, and
you too.
Happy early retirement.
Thank you.
And that'll do it for our latest City Spotlight episode as we kick off Season 11 of City Spotlight as we feature the communities of Tolono and Mattoon. Thanks for watching.
It's almost impossible to imagine life without internet today. It keeps us connected to work, school, and loved ones, no matter where they are. Fidium Fiber Internet now serves over 1 million locations, providing reliable, consistent service that keeps these connections strong. From vibrant cities to quiet rural areas, fiber broadband is a key driver of economic growth. Fidium is dedicated to supporting communities and enhancing lives through this essential technology. Learn more at fidiumfiber.com.